This video is sponsored by Freely Give. If you need help with Drupal and AI, please get in contact with us. I'm gonna showcase a very simple agent, but I'm gonna showcase some of the most maybe important tools that you can be using in Drupal to actually create content. So what we're gonna do is create an agent that can create one specific content type, and also has access to actually reading PDFs. So we're gonna have like a PDF like this, title, some information, and we're just gonna run an agent where we say, could you look at the restaurant Tim Raue on the PDF of the file this? And we just show you here there's many restaurant then, but it's gonna be able to, you know, select it, run it, and actually create a version of the content for this. So if we go to the content and reload, we're gonna see there is a Tim Raue here that has set up the correct phone address, pricing, and description, and so on. So let's go. Hey everyone, it's been a while. I've been busy with 1.2 preparations, but now I should hopefully be able to start creating videos all the time. Today we will show a simple agent that can take a PDF and generate content from it. It will be based on modules that doesn't require infrastructure. So we're going to use something called AI Simple PDF to Text. This has two things, so it can create automated rules. I'm going to showcase this in a second in some video later, where you can create a chatbot talk to your PDF content. But it also then has a function call that you can use. I'm also gonna show the tool API. So this is the first time I show the tool API. I will say that the tool API is the way to solve things going forward for function calling as well. If you want to create a function call, you should always consider using tool API instead, for the simple reason that it creates a function call, but whatever you do will also in the future be available in ECA. You see Jürgen is one of the maintainers there. Views bulk operations, and it's a more structured way of doing tools. It also solves the problem with security of creating generic tools. So my recommendations going so far has been basically create a function call that solves your issue, because that will make the agent more reliable and it will be more secure. But of course you might end up with hundreds of function calls then, and a lot of function calls that are basically just iterations of other function calls. So the idea is here to create more generic tools that you can reuse over and over, and that's not saying you can use tool API to solve your specific problem anyway, of course. So it's a plugin system. If you know how to write function calls, you will know how to write tool API. It's not that different. I also want to just give a huge shout out. So Michael is the main maintainer. He has done like 99% of the work on tool API, or even 100% maybe, and he's actually looking for a position right now. If you want someone who knows Drupal and AI, that combination, and has a much stronger Drupal knowledge than me, I would recommend him. Highly recommended. So I will just show the modules I have installed. So what I have installed already is the agent framework AI module. I've set up OpenAI in this case, but use any provider you want. I mean, if you use smaller models, you might not get the same result, of course. Then I have installed the tool AI connector, and for the 1.x branch in AI, you're gonna have to use AI connector. For 2, it might just work without it. Let's see. That's a decision still to be taken. You can look in the issue queue if you have opinions about this. And tool content and tool entity. And then I have also installed the AI Simple PDF to Text. All these modules you just have to install, and that's it. they're gonna be available. I have created a content type that has address, description, phone, price, website, and a title, and it's called restaurant, and I'm gonna showcase. This is the PDF then that I have, and the idea is that I can tell it, hey, look at this PDF and import Burgermeister, for instance. Create a content around Burgermeister, but not the other ones. Right, I had it. We need to install media module as well. So it is a little bit clunky now. We're trying to solve how you can actually upload non-images into an agent and assistant. For now, the tool takes a URL, URI, or a file ID. So we're going to use file ID in this case. So we're just going to add a document here, which we have here. So we're just saving this restaurant. So we know, can look in the files, and this has a file ID here that is 25. So we can just use this when we're talking to it. So we go to configuration AI agent. That's where you can add a agent, and we're just gonna create then the restaurant creator agent. This agent can create nodes on type restaurant. We set like 10 loops. Now we can say 20 loops. Maybe you want to import, like, I don't know, you want to import 20 restaurants in one go, then you might need a lot of loops actually. Agents instruction, we're gonna improve this as we go along, but we just start with you are a looping agent that is an expert on creating content of the node type restaurant in Drupal. Let's just start there, and gonna add more things as we go along. The next thing we need to do is add tools, and these, then the tool API comes with a lot of tools. What we need to add here are we need to add, see here, we need to add save entity, we need to set get field values, and we need to create the entity as well. Where is it? Or is it no, create unsaved entity? Right, this is what we want to do. So how this works is it's creating an unsaved entity, so that just becomes a placeholder, so that you can think of that similar to how you open the node creation form. Get field values is important if we want to update. It's actually set field values. So get field values would be important if we want to create, so the agent also can update one of the nodes then if we want to. Maybe we can add that right away just to showcase that as well. So what's happening is gonna do the create unsaved entity, then it's gonna start adding field values similar to how you add the field values on the form, but it's not until you actually save the entity it actually saves it, right? And the important thing here is, of course, it needs to be able to see how to create this. So what is the actual structure for this? And this is what we need here is get field information. We can just test the tool. So if you have the API Explorer enable, you can just test it. So we can just test node restaurant just to see this is what the agent is gonna see. But what we can do in this case is that we don't necessarily actually need we don't necessarily need to run this in a loop, because we know we always need to get the field information about how to save a restaurant, because the only thing this is going to be concerned with is actually creating restaurants. And because of this, we're going to use then the default information tools. And this is something where, I mean, the whole thing here, we're working on improving how it's working. There's a UX group for this. If you're interested in joining those conversations, if you know like how this can be worked, then just, there is AI UX channel in Slack, or contact us. We need all the help we can get how to make those stuff better. So we're gonna say get restaurant information. This is just a unique key. Doesn't matter, the AI is not aware of it. What it is aware of is this field information restaurant, and a description. This is the information about how you create the fields for the restaurant node types, and the tool AI we can get, tool ID we can get here then. So it's this, you see it's URL encoded, the colon there, but it is this. And the parameters you can also get here, that's this. So we just set this to node, and bundle should be restaurant. And then this whole thing is gonna be saved into memory. So the agent is always aware of that. It's always part of the memory. So we don't need to tell it to use this. The other things are of course dynamic, because if you tell it to I don't know, create an article, it shouldn't really use all of this. It should just tell you that that won't work. Oh, I realize we also need to be able to load entity by ID, because if we're going to be able to edit, we also need to load an entity that exists. So the important things now, before this is built into tool API, is that we need to constrain this. So it's very important that you say that the entity that can be saved should have a forced value of node. You should just be able to save nodes with this. It would be very, very bad, especially load and save, if it could load a key instance, for instance, your API keys or something, and save those, right? So we need to constrain the same thing here. And here we can go even, no, we just set the entity type ID, entity ID, it should be able to choose itself, of course. So what you're saying here is basically some of these things we don't really want the AI to take a decision about. It should just always be node in this case. And in this case, we're also gonna set node. So set the field value, and you should just be able to create oh, sorry, this should be restaurant, of course. So you should just be able to create a restaurant. We save this. This is not gonna work, I think, yet, because we didn't give it any instructions. And I forgot the tool. Of course, if we're gonna read a PDF, well, we can try this first, just to see if it's anywhere close to actually being able to create something. Could you create a new restaurant, title, hello, and the description? Cool. Because nothing except title was required, I think. So this should, in theory, maybe actually work. So it creates tool entity stub, then is that it actually creates a version, it sets a value. Oh, so okay, save, tells it saved it, and if we go to content, it actually probably just worked. Yeah, we created a hello restaurant with a description. Cool. Huh. That was actually worked better than I thought. So anyway, let's see how much we actually need to shape it. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add then the simple PDF reader. So simple PDF to text. We can just try it just for fun to see if we might not actually need to write such a big system prompt. So now I have of course forgotten the 25 it is. Could you look at the restaurant Burgermeister in the PDF of file ID 25 and generate it? Let's see. I think the address field might be so complex that it actually needs some help there, but it will still be interesting to see, just to try it out without actually writing something. So it seems to actually incredibly enough work. Well, it seems like it's failing when it's trying to save the website. I wonder why it doesn't allow it to save. So you see it's trying to resave and resave until it can set it correctly. So here it worked. So it actually probably need some system prompt to how to save the URI at least, if we're gonna make it work better. But let's just start with checking here if this actually worked. No, this didn't work. Okay, it can't solve the link. Requires that the link title not be null. Okay, I'm just gonna see how we set this up first. I actually thought I said that the link title is not needed in this case. It's disabled, so it should not be needed. Let's see here, URI. You can see it's actually trying everything here to try to figure out how to fill it in. But this might be, this might be a problem in the actual tool rather than the agent being wrong. So because what I can see, it's actually doing everything correct. I know you shouldn't be able to save a title, so that shouldn't work, but this should work. Just to see so everything else works first, do not include the link. So while we're doing this, I'm just gonna showcase a module here that's super important when you're doing this, because I talked a lot about the automators, and the automators kind of just works when you have a feeling that it works. When you feel like, if you run it like 50 times, it just works. It kind of works. And there might be edge cases that you run into when you go into production that you have to fix, but mostly it works. This is not true for agents, and this is something we saw when we created the Drupal CMS agents, that it's very hard to test them because you can be as expressive as you want. It's a free text field where you can write anything to them. So you have to try to think of all the use cases people will use them for, but you will not be able to think of all of them. So you're gonna have to improve them. So we have this module AI agents test, and you should install it. Basically what you can do there is you can run tests against your agents over and over and over and over to see that they are doing the right decision based on instructions, memory. So you might have a long chat history and so on. And because of this, I would just recommend using it. That's the only way you can get something that's getting close, that is like production ready, that solves most of the things. Of course, you can talk about a restaurant creator agent for your use case. You could maybe even do this to not include link. So let's see. if this worked better. Okay, so now it worked because it didn't have to create the website then. And it did fill in. Okay, we have first name, last name there, but it was smart enough to actually figure out that it shouldn't fill that in. Schönhausallée 45 10435 Berlin, 1 star. This description they copied, phone worked. So it's working now actually, except for link, and this might be something that we have to create an issue for, actually, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, I will end this video cast there because I think I have shown the most important things. I will just do a heads up here because this is the first time I showcase how you can create. I mean, with automators, of course, you can create content and you can extrapolate stuff. So, you know, start from a small title and write a long description or something for that. AI just creates slop from this. This is super important. And I know, you know, there's just gonna be people that's using it for this, and that will, you know, it's a race to the bottom because all the tools that has AI will do this. But I would just urge you, use this to interpolate, take a lot of big content and summarize this. This is something AI is actually good at. It creates good content from this. Anytime you try to extrapolate where the AI is the one that actually writes the content, it's crap. It's crap. Don't use this. This becomes AI slop. This is the dead internet theory where, you know, we're just flooding the internet with too much information that no one will read. It will just be AIs that reads this in the future. That's just a waste of resources. So please don't do it for this. There are hundreds of use cases where this is useful, but you know, creating another sloppy website where you didn't write anything is not one of them. So please don't use it for this. Yeah, thank you for watching.